Hello everyone and welcome to a very nice game that was played in round 5 of this year's Prague International Chess Festival. Round 6 is being played as we speak, and some of the games have already been drawn. 2 of the games are still in progress, and it doesn't seem that they will end anytime soon, so I decided to show a game that was played in the round prior to this one, but also a very nice one, and the one that you guys have requested. So it's Sam Shankland versus Wei Yi. And it's a pretty important game for Wei Yi. Sam Shankland did lose one game, but other than that, he's having a pretty good event. However, Wei Yi started with 2 losses and a draw out of the first 3 rounds. Then he got a win, so okay, he did get one win in the tournament, and this is now round 5. But he does have the black pieces against a very strong player, Sam Shankland. So let's see. Let's see what happens in this one. Sam with white opens with d4. We have knight to f6, pawn to c4, e6, and knight to c3. We have bishop to b4, where he opts for the Nimzo-Indian defense, and we have pawn to g3. This is the 6th most popular continuation against the Nimzo-Indian. The most popular ones are queen c2, e3. Everyone knows those. You could play f3, you could go knight f3, a3 is the 5th most popular, and this pawn to g3. This is the Romanishin or the Kasparov system, and well, nowadays is the 6th most popular continuation. So trying to throw Wei Yi out of book, but we'll see if the clock times agree with his assessment. We have castles, bishop g2, and pawn to d5. We have knight to f3 and d captures on c4. Playing pretty quickly, so it's hard to say if he is out of book or not. We have castles, knight to c6, knight to c6, and pawn to a3. Challenging the bishop, bishop captures, b captures, and now knight to a5. Again played instantly, but this is a standard Nimzo-Indian move. Once the pawn comes to c4, you have that b3 outpost, and it will constantly be a very, very annoying pressure for white to deal with. So bishop to g5, pinning the knight, and now pawn to c5. There is a game that reached this exact same position, a couple of them actually in a top-level game. Laurent Fressinet played pawn to c6 here against Vasily Ivanchuk in 2016, but that was a blitz game, and he lost that game to Ivanchuk. But here we have pawn to c5, and it is now as of move 10 that we have a completely new game. So okay, pawn to e4, the threat being pawn to e5. We have h6 by Wei Yi, and now bishop back to h4. And it seems like you're sort of trapping your own bishop, but g5 would be too dangerous to play. We could show a few moves, like if you capture, if you play g5, of course, the pawn will be captured, and now, well, e5 is still a threat. You're going to have to play e5 yourself, and then queen f3. And that's pretty much it. And other than bishop to g4 with the immediate queen trade, you're just getting destroyed here. But even this, I will show you how dangerous the position can be, even though the queens leave the board. Like captures, captures, and captures, and now something like e captures on d4. You will play pawn to f4, and this is very, very scary for the black king. Like if knight b3, for example, attacking the rook, you can play f5, and this is game over almost for black. If you capture the rook, rook f4, and there's no way to avoid checkmate. Whatever you play doesn't matter. You could go something like bishop to h5, but then comes rook to h4, will attack the bishop. If you don't play that, there's really nothing you can do. You could try maybe freeing up the back rank for your king, but then you're just gonna capture king f8, rook h4, or you know, you could even play e5 and with e6 and completely grab hold of all of the squares here. There's really nothing you can do here, like king e8, e6, and again, no squares for that black king. You also can't go here, and if you go king f8, again rook h4, and this does nothing. You will just get checkmated here. So it's a very, very scary position, but g5 would not end well for black. So Wei Yi goes pawn to e5, and now bishop captures on f6. d5, well, it does give you a pass pawn, then you just unpin with queen to d6. You also blockade the pawn, and it's a very nice position for black. So instead, after e5, we have bishop captures on f6 by Sam, queen captures, and now you should play d captures on e5, but obviously Sam decided against it. He likes his strong center, plays queen a4, puts pressure on the knight, and now he runs into a well, into a whirlwind of unfavorable combinations, and that starts with knight to b3. Attacking the rook on a1, but it seems like this knight is never interested in being traded for the inactive rook on a1. We have knight captures on e5 by Sam, and now bishop to e6. And this bishop to e6 is such a star move by Wei Yi that it doesn't matter what white plays here, is just not good enough. Here, rook a to d1 is played, getting the rook out of harm's way, but now c captures on d4, and look at this, knight captures on c4, removing the defender of the knight, but there is a problem here. You know, what would you play in this position? It's a really beautiful position that where a lot of moves can be played, but there's one that is particularly strong and particularly annoying for white, so have at it. You know, try and spot this one while I give you a couple of seconds. So the move in question is, of course, pawn to b5. Look at this. Look at this beauty. Attacking the knight and the queen, and the point is, yes, the queen can capture on b3, but if you do that, then bishop captures on c4, attacks the queen, defends on b5, and nicely connects with the rook on f1. So after b5, queen captures on b5 was played, but this now means that you can bring the rook into the game and keep your knight defended while creating a pass pawn on c3. So rook a to b8 attacks the queen, queen a4, and the d captures on c3. You have a pass pawn, you have a defended knight on b3, and the knight covers the queening square. That is Wei Yi's plan here. We have pawn to e5, cutting off Wei Yi's queen from the game, but as you'll see, it doesn't really matter. Queen e7, knight to d6, further cutting off the queen from the game, and now pawn to c2. Rook d to e1, and now look at this beautiful move, the move from the thumbnail, rook f to c8. Sacrificing the exchange, but it doesn't matter. The rook belongs behind the pass pawn, and there's just nothing Sam can do here. He does capture the rook, which is the best thing to do, but it is insufficient. The knight captures, rook to c1, and knight captures on c1. Not much to do about this. We have rook captures, queen to d8, preparing queen to d1 check, and now comes, well, maybe not immediately, but it is one of the moves that will be played. So here, queen to b5. Also, if you play rook captures, it is defended by queen to d2 check. Now you're just going to pick up that rook as it is attacked twice. So here, queen to b5 was played, now preparing to meet the check with queen to f1. But again, it is not enough. Queen to d1 with check, we have queen to f1, and here a nice silent move to end the game, rook to d8, and it was in this position on move 27 that Sam Shankland resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. Now, of course, you can never capture on d1 because it is defended twice, and black will just always be up material. You could try doing nothing, but even that will not do. For example, you play pawn to a4. How does black break through here? There are many ways that you could try, but there is one that is that just ends the game on the spot, and it is quite beautiful. You'll play queen captures on f1. And now the point is, if king captures, of course, you're just going to deliver a check. If rook captures, you get a queen into the game. If rook doesn't capture, then you just win the rook on c1. And again, you're winning. The interesting idea is what happens if bishop captures on f1. Now rook to d1, you just capture the passed pawn, and isn't white just winning here? Well, no, because white is getting checkmated. If rook to d1 and you capture the pawn, if you don't capture, then you're again lost. But if you capture, then bishop h3 with checkmate on the next move. Or okay, you can suffer through one check or maybe even two checks if white is really being weird about it. But you know, any move that other than some silly moves will end in checkmate. So yeah, brilliant stuff by Wei Yi. This is what Sam saw when rook to d8 was played, and of course he resigned the game here. So very interesting, you know, turn of events for Wei Yi, starting off with only half a point from the first 3 rounds, then winning 2 in a row, and now he's playing against Edis Gurel. And we could also check up on his game. Let me just check if it's still happening. Yeah, it's still being played. Yeah, very interesting. You know, it's hard to say. It's definitely a Wei Yi position. I think Edis was a little bit better at some point in the game, but yeah, now I think maybe Wei Yi is taking over the game. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So yeah, that's the game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If it has a nice conclusion, I might show that one next. You never know. I would like to thank Janko Popovic, Kushin for Pushun, Priscilla Woodley, Gerhard Homer, and David Gasparian for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon. Continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions, but mostly covering this fine event until it finishes. Thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.